All right, everyone. Now it's time to analyze the forthcoming debates between Trump and Biden. There's all sorts of crazy shit people are talking about. Is Biden going to get removed in August? Because he'll perform poorly at the first debate, and it's like maybe we'll get rid of him and stuff like that. What are the ramifications of them debating? And of course, it is still technically up in the air whether they end up debating. Biden has been repeatedly non-committal. He challenged Trump to a pair of debates that Trump accepted, after months of Trump demanding that Biden debate, and Biden saying, well, come on, man, I'd like to do that, but it depends on how Trump acts. It depends on what he says. Very disingenuous, by the way, that entire time. Now they're pretending that Biden is the big boy in the room and challenged Trump when, again, for a couple of months, Trump was pretty committed to debating Joe Biden, and it was Biden that dragged his heels and finally said, okay, I'll give you 2 instead of 3, and they have to be on CNN and ABC, with openly hostile moderators, a dump button, and no live audience. Trump is walking into a trap, by the way. Now, there are several ways this can play out. And I do believe that the debates matter, but not terribly much. Now, in order for the debates to really matter, you have to have like a real gotcha moment, or you have to have something crazy go on, or somebody has to perform really, really well or really, really poorly. Here's why I don't think it moves the metric greatly. Biden is counting on a campaign restart by totally taking him behind the woodshed and making him do push-ups. But most voters are already committed to Joe Biden or to Donald Trump. That's the majority of voters, including independent voters. They've already made their decision. It won't be too many months from now before early voting kicks in. By the way, recommendation to the Trump fans out there. This is not something Trump will tell you, and he's wrong not to tell you to do it. Vote early. Vote early and get it done with. There's no telling what happens on Election Day. On Election Day, you could have croaked. Well, your vote still counts. On Election Day, you could be sick and say, well, I don't really feel up to voting. Well, you've already voted, so there's no problem. Take an early ballot if it's available in your state and vote. And don't just do that. Use that day and knock on a few doors. Talk to some people. Harvest a ballot. Dude, if only the people that watch this video in the sensitive states, the 7 or 8 competitive states, that includes Virginia, Minnesota, and Maine now, were to do that, it would be tens of thousands of votes potentially. You're not in the country? Well, you can still talk online and encourage your American friends to go and vote. Tell them to vote early. Here's why it doesn't matter as much as it might. There are only 2 of them. They are going to be carefully scripted. Trump is going to be at hazard there. But Biden is not coherent enough to capitalize upon the fact that literally every aspect of these debates has been garden-weaseled to be in his favor. The format, the moderators, the dump button, the non-studio audience, etc., etc. It's all arranged to help Joe Biden. The whole goal of the legacy media in sponsoring these debates is to help Joe restart his campaign. Do I believe that that's likely to happen? No. Biden is going to be reduced to talking about J6 and unemployment and things like that don't really translate well to a national platform. Unemployment's low, that's great. People are taking out credit card debt and getting second gig jobs in order to try to make ends meet. Why do I think that despite Joe Biden having a disadvantage on every meaningful issue, doesn't mean that Donald Trump necessarily does particularly well? He's not good at the follow-throughs. Donald Trump is a good public speaker, but he goes off into tangents. He goes off into rants every single time I see him debate. And I've seen him debate in the primaries. In 2016 at least. There was no effective primary this last time around. I've seen him debate Hillary Clinton. I've seen him debate Biden. He's handed, and this is a Republican thing, he's handed a situation where Biden has just said something, or there's a subject in which Trump can deliver a knockout punch. Instead, he pulls the punch, and then he goes wandering off into his thoughts in something that's not even necessarily related to the question. Trump being a good public speaker and a good debater doesn't mean that he doesn't always follow through. Biden's at a loss in these debates because he has nothing meaningful to say. He's going to try to make the debates a referendum on Trump and talk about, well, here's the top 5 list of Trump's failings, man. Where's that? Well, Mexico ain't paid for it and stuff like that. And nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. So Biden can't really win the debates. He wins the debates by not falling dead on stage, basically. By not stumbling over the podium, which could very much happen, by the way. That would be hilarious. Trump can't really prevail because he's not good at delivering the knockout line. He's good with the clip. He's good with the sound bites for his core audience. Like when Hillary Clinton was meandering off and he's like, yeah, you'll be in jail and stuff like that. Okay, that's red meat to the base. That definitely endears people who are already likely to pull the lever for you. It endears them. Does it win over an independent voter? Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. So Biden can't really capitalize on the debates and didn't want to have them anyway. He can pretend all day that he wanted the debates. He's only doing them because he has to. He does not want to debate Donald Trump, nor do the people around him really want him to debate Donald Trump either, but they see no other possible victory. They're doing this out of desperation. Trump is ready to pounce, but will he follow through? I'm hoping that we get at least one good moment in one of the two debates they're scheduled to have, either the one in July, a few weeks from now, or the one in September. I'm hoping we get a knockout punch from Big Don. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm expecting that it'll be an even Stevens style debate. It'll be Donald Trump talking about the economy, the border, and stuff like that, but he won't follow through with the knockout, even though he could, because there's plenty of arrows in the quiver. And Joe Biden will be a mumbling mess, but he'll be defended by the moderator and the format, and they'll deride Trump and fact-check him and all that stuff. They'll do their best and keep him afloat, but ultimately, at the end of the day, there's nothing to capitalize on. Biden doesn't have anything other than Trump did this, that, and the other thing to talk about at the debates. He can't run on the economy. He tries this all the time, and his staff are wrong to try to get him to do so. Oh, come on, man, inflation's coming down. I inherited 9% inflation. Trump could completely ass blast him. Say, well, Joe, you claim that you inherited 9% inflation when you came into office, but it was 1.4%, so what gives? You're talking about midway through your second year. That's when it hit 9%. That wasn't me. You had been president for over a year. That would be good. Hey, Biden, under my administration, the number of people illegally crossing the border was less than half of what it is currently. Why did you and the other Democrats obstruct my plan, and House Republicans too, actually, throw them under the bus, obstruct the wall building that would have, been completely finished by now, and it would have been finished, and then you would have less of a problem, and then try to attack me for vetoing, for not supporting, rather, a so-called bipartisan border bill that wouldn't have solved the problem and would have given you latitude to do whatever you wanted. Now, what gives, Joe? He could confront him with these things. He could confront him over what's happening in Israel v. Gaza. Hey, Joe, pick a side already, or something like that. Put him on the fence. Hey, Joe, when I was the president of the United States, North Korea wasn't firing missiles. Yeah, all you and Krugman and all the others said World War III would break out. I didn't start any new wars. Hey, Joe, we're involved in 3 different proxy conflicts, and ECOWAS is fast dissipating at the moment. Your foreign policy is a mess. This is what Trump needs to do. What I expect him to do is pull his punches as he has in debates before. There will be sound bites that are red meat to the base, but otherwise they will meander because that's his speaking style. He's got that stream of consciousness boardroom style. Biden, meanwhile, will be buoyed up by the favorable venue and the favorable moderation. He'll be a mess otherwise, but he'll be defended in making his mess. And probably there's no specific singular gaffe that sinks his re-election bid. Ultimately, by the way, this means advantage Trump. Overall, that's my analysis. Advantage Trump for even having debates. Biden needs to deliver a knockout too, but he can't. There's nothing to deliver a knockout on. It's impossible. There's nothing he can talk about that is meaningful for the average American citizen that favors him. He is disfavored in virtually every aspect. That's why they had to have the sympathetic debate format in the first place. That's about all. Peace out.